Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 71 of Let's Build Minecraft. Let's get back into first person view. How is everybody doing today? We have a pretty fun... Ooh, that always freaks me out. I'm not used to using elytra, but I got mending on them now, so now we can fly around. I've got a really cool build today. I think it's gonna be really cool. I think you guys will like it, and hopefully we should have a cool little time lapse if I can get it working. But anyways, first things first, on our last live stream, I went to a mesa, which was about 4,000 blocks, probably more because it was in a diagonal, probably like 5,000 blocks away. And we got this should last us a while. This is for mainly for roofs, and then I also have a good bit of gravel and sand so that we can do concrete. But we're going to be building over here today. Now let's discuss proper castles, like we have been a lot lately. So I got a lot of comments saying that they were pretty impressed with the amount of detail that has gone into this castle on a realistic level. I think a few people were pretty impressed with how I have my murder holes in here, and the idea is that you could drop like oil or boiling water down here. People are pretty impressed that I have these drains here. I just thought it was a pretty cool little detail, but I'm glad you guys like that kind of thing. We're going to be working on our first building of the city, not part of the wall, but rather a proper building, and it's gonna be a guard house. It's gonna so we're gonna be building a gatehouse right here, and I kind of need to map it out. This is dirt that's kind of mapping out where it's gonna be, but we gotta map it out a little bit better than this. And it's gonna be up here, so I'm just gonna build a platform while we talk. It's not necessarily a guard barrack, but it's more of we're next to an entrance of the city, and so goods could come in through or go out of this entrance, and the idea is that this is a station that guards could be at to... You could use it as a toll, like you have to pay a toll to get through. They could check whatever you're bringing in, make sure that you're not bringing anything in illegally. Or I guess just a sort of a general watch post, but it's not like a tower or anything like that. So it's a pretty smallish building for the area. I already have an idea for what it's going to look like. My other concerns that I've had, are we already out of dirt? We are. Let me go back and get that. My other point of concern that I've had is how realistic it is to have two major points of entrance within a city, how defensible it is. And so this is our second entrance, and ideally our main entrance, there being another entrance over there. I feel like it's kind of like splitting your troops thinner if you have two, but this is a big enough city that I guess I'm not too worried about that kind of logic. But at the same time, if we have a toll gate or whatever we want to call it over here, does that mean that we need to have one? And this might get all swapped out for stone, I just realized, but that's okay. Better use the dirt for now since it's inexpensive. If we have the toll gate over here, then do we need one over there? Or we can mix things up, have a toll gate over here and have a secondary gatehouse or a smaller gatehouse on the other side of the bridge over there. So there's some things to think about. Now I had mapped this out. This is pretty much going to be a copy of that right over here. There's really no reason why they would be different. But I don't want it to come over into this, what will be a stream. We'll fix this. We'll have water running through this, and it'll look real nice. But it's so wide that I think we need to remove this section of wall and actually start it over here. So I'm gonna, before I tear this down, I'm going to put some dirt down and measure it out. Okay, things haven't really gone as planned. I think I'm really underestimating the size of the buildings that are going to be in this town. It's almost making me wonder if I have enough room, man, in this city. So the other side of the wall is, you can see those red blocks peeking over the horizon. That's the other side of the wall. I kind of wish that this wall right here was pushed back just 10 blocks. Like, just 10 blocks. I don't know. Anyway, I was planning on... Hello, phone. I was planning on the guardhouse, let's call it a guardhouse, to be right here, facing this way, so that when you came through, you would be immediately greeted by said guardhouse. However, this is not nearly enough space for what I have planned. And it looks like a decent bit of space, but it's really not. I'll bring over here. I relocated my beacon, by the way. These cobblestone, this cobblestone square thing here is the rough estimate of the size of this build. I did not realize that it would be this big. But, this is so big, we might not go this far back, but that doesn't leave room for anything near this size over here. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do here. This makes me think maybe we shouldn't have made the inside wall so intricate, and we could just build stuff up against it. But I don't really like the idea of building stuff on the wall either. I think if I were like a city planner in a real world and we had a city wall and someone said, "Hey, can I build my house on the wall?" I'd probably say no. But then that gives us even less room to work with. So we'll have to see how it works out. If it ends up being the case that we have to move this wall back, I think that maybe this wall is going to be like a last priority starting now. This wall pretty much has to go where it is because of its position next to the river. So this one's not really going to get moved. We might put this one in place and wait to finish this one. I don't know if you guys... I really don't want to use World Edit to move the wall, because, I mean, we built this in survival. If I use World Edit just to move the wall, what would you guys think about that? Well, let's make sure we're not, overestimating these houses. This is still a lot of room to work with, so I think I'll just save this wall. It's nearly done, but not quite. That gatehouse will take quite a bit of time. I don't really want to move an entire gatehouse. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get started on this. If all things work as planned, then I'm going to go into a camera account, get a nice time lapse of this, and do a voiceover of it so we can talk about what we're building as we're building it. One of the key features that I want to achieve with this build was I wanted there to be a section of the build that was like somewhat of a public outpost where a guard or someone could be stationed and look out, clearly visible to the outside, where if there needed to be some sort of transaction or, toll, whatever, then a person behind this desk basically could take it. As you can see, that is the first thing that I built because, one, I needed to be close to the gate, and two, it was like one of the first defining features that I knew that I wanted to have. So I wanted to start with the things I knew that I wanted instead of starting with things I wasn't so sure about. So I kind of just got a little creative with some of these little details, like these gates and the trap doors, kind of looking like a visor type deal, and making the window more constrained. I wanted the window to be more than one block, but not 2 whole blocks tall, so we kind of achieved that with those signs. And then I kind of just continued on and added the room behind it. And I really used trapdoors in this build a lot. And I noticed that on this account I used to record that I didn't use my resource pack. So that's why the trapdoors don't look like my trapdoors. But I ended up going with these colors for the roof because they were one of the ones I had picked out in my testing with colors for roof designs. And those ones really stuck out to me as, darker, not as inviting, so maybe not a home color, but definitely good for a military type area. And then another thing that I want on this build was some sort of outpost. I said outpost already to describe the other thing, but this is kind of like a little tower. Think of it like a lifeguard tower. It's not a full-blown tower, but it's something that you could sit on top of and watch around, maybe. And then there's an entrance to it that is actually sunk into the ground a little bit. And there you can see I ended up bringing it up a little bit more, adding in texture to the walls. This is a fairly boring section of the house, I think. I'm not entirely happy with it, but I think it's okay for it to be a little boring. There, I just lined the trapdoors and everything with wool. As you can see, I have stairs there, lots of different entrances, so if you're walking around here, you have a feeling of adventure, a lot of different places that you can go to. And then these windows and stuff, I've kind of had the design down for a while, but basically the way that I got it was I got like where I want my windows, where I want my pillars, and then I found a design and I just basically copied it over and over. So the button on the log, the trapdoor, the stair, you can see I did one detail at a time and repeated it. That way, I find one thing, I think it looks good. It helps you add a lot of clutter when you find a lot of little things like that, and that's kind of what this build is all about, or this style that we've been in. It's fitting in a lot of little details to make everything look super busy. I've never made just like the side of a house look this busy. Again, continuing with the roof design. Now on the side, I wanted something for some sort of storage. I end up going with what's supposed to be a tent, and it ends up holding some hay. Those magenta blocks, I swear they look different in video than in game. They look very pink to me now I'm watching back on it, but I really like the contrast with the brown, so I don't know. I think I like it. Here, I think that I did a really good job of something that you need to do if you have these reoccurring designs. Find a way to make them slightly different in some places. So here, our wooden posts actually come out a block from the wall, and I skipped a window in one spot instead of having windows everywhere, and then a flower box ends up going there. I think I end up finding out that everything is actually one block too tall, and that wall is too far forward one block. So I end up redoing a bit of this, and that's why it's really good for planning this stuff out in creative if you're going to build it in survival. If you guys want to have somewhat of a hand in designing this stuff with me, by the way, I did this on a live stream, and a lot of people gave me a lot of suggestions, and we kind of worked out together, and got to where we wanted to be. Another thing that I thought was really good, for the variation in details was the change in elevation. So this floor, there's a window in between these wooden sections, and it's supposed to show that there's like a staircase leading from this lower one to the top one, because that one's like in the middle ground, and I think it does a pretty good job of that. We'll get to interior on this. I want to get to interiors. I don't know if I want to go all out on them. Maybe at least layout to start with. I always think if you do interiors on a build, it makes the build. But man, it takes a long time. So who knows? Maybe that's live stream work. Here, I'm continuing with the trapdoor roof visor type deal. And I've done this 3 different ways in this building, or in this build, if you haven't noticed. So I did it, the one over the little outpost, I didn't do it at all on the highest roof. And this one I have zigzagging up and down, and I don't put any carpet on it. And the zigzag up and down kind of accentuates the windows, so it goes up over the windows. It's supposed to like give like better visibility, kind of. It probably doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but it's good. With the hay, again, that's not my hay texture. Bleh. I like to put the hay in the ground whenever I put hay storage. It makes it look like there's hay, loose hay all over. Here, this is a horse stable, and I wanted to add a wall and fences, but the only thing that connects to stone walls is gates. So, to combat that on the side, I added a layer of, again, trapdoors. And it kind of makes the wall look more sturdy. It looks a little silly from up here, but it looks really good from the side, I think at least. And then a wall over here. And the idea is that there's going to be a tiny little archer range over there. Okay, hopefully you guys liked that little segment. That's a new thing that I'm trying out. Hopefully it worked out well. I haven't edited it yet. I haven't even done the voiceover yet. But this is the front face of the build, and hopefully I, describe it enough throughout the thing that you know what it's all about now. But with that being said, if you want to see the rest of this build and you're watching this on the day that's posted, that should be a Friday, then check in tonight. I believe I'm going to be finishing it up on a live stream. And not just the back of the building. So there is a good bit of back of the building that we have to do. But I also want to do the surrounding area. So the ground and everything. And there's going to be an alleyway type deal here. I want to do all that. So it's going to be a good building live stream. So tune in for that if you're so interested. If you want to get notifications on that kind of thing, there's a little bell between this or below this video. Click that and you'll get notifications whenever I go live on your phone or wherever you have YouTube installed, I believe. And if not, check out my Twitter, and I do post when I'm going live, and I try not to be super pushy with it or anything. I don't tweet a whole lot. I just kind of tweet when I go live and when a video goes up, and a comment here and there, or pictures of builds here and there. It's nothing. I don't spam Twitter or anything, so go check that out if you would like to. Anyways, guys, hopefully you liked it. I got a few more plans for this building before it's done, and then if you guys got more ideas, make sure to post them, especially if it's before the live stream. And I'll take a look at them, and I'll consider them. And if you got ideas, come into the live stream, and I'll look at them, and we can work things out together. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye!